For centuries, the image of Judas was carefully constructed. A greedy man, a thief, a devil among disciples, the man who sold the Son of God for 30 silver coins. But there's something strange hidden inside the canonical Gospels themselves. If Jesus truly came to die, then why is Judas condemned for helping fulfill the plan? Without Judas, there is no crucifixion. Without crucifixion, no resurrection. Without resurrection, no Christianity. So why does the story require Judas to be both necessary and hated? That contradiction haunted early Christian thinkers. And somewhere in the chaos of the 2nd century, alternative answers began to emerge. Dangerous answers. Because early Christianity was not one unified religion. It was a battlefield. Dozens of sects fought over who Jesus really was. Some believed he was divine, others believed he was purely human. Some taught salvation through faith, others taught salvation through hidden knowledge. And among the most feared were the Gnostics. The word Gnostic comes from Gnosis, knowledge, not ordinary knowledge, secret spiritual awakening, the realization that the material world itself is a prison. To the Gnostics, humanity had forgotten its true origin. They believed sparks of divine consciousness were trapped inside flesh, trapped inside a false reality ruled by lesser beings. And according to some Gnostic groups, the God of the Old Testament was not the true highest God at all. He was something else, a ruler, a jailer, a counterfeit creator, the Demiurge, a blind cosmic architect who trapped souls inside matter and demanded worship through fear. This is why the discovery of the Gospel of Judas terrified religious scholars, because the text doesn't just defend Judas, it completely rewrites Christianity itself. In the 1970s, somewhere near the cliffs of Middle Egypt, ancient manuscripts were pulled from the earth. Smugglers passed them through black markets. Pages crumbled, ink faded. Some were nearly lost forever. For decades, the manuscript disappeared into private collections, hidden from the public eye, until finally, experts began restoring what remained. What they uncovered stunned the world. The Gospel of Judas, a text dating roughly to the 2nd century, not written by Judas himself, but preserving traditions from a forgotten branch of Christianity that the Church tried to erase. And once translated, its message exploded like dynamite, because in this Gospel, Jesus shares secret teachings only with Judas. Not Peter, not John, not the beloved disciples, only Judas. The others are portrayed as blind followers trapped in ignorance. At one point, Jesus literally laughs at them while they perform religious rituals. Imagine how shocking that would have sounded to the ancient church. The disciples, the foundation of Christian authority, reduced to confused worshippers who completely misunderstood Christ. But Judas alone sees beyond the illusion. Jesus tells him, "You will exceed all of them." Not condemn him, not curse him, exalt him. And then comes the line that changes everything. Jesus tells Judas, "You will sacrifice the man that clothes me." The man that clothes me, not "you will betray me," not "you will murder me." The physical body is described as clothing, a temporary shell, a prison. And Judas is the one chosen to help release what is trapped inside. Suddenly, the crucifixion transforms from execution into escape, not defeat, liberation. To understand the Gospel of Judas, you must understand the Gnostic universe, because this wasn't merely theology, it was cosmic rebellion. According to many Gnostic systems, the true God exists beyond human comprehension, pure spirit, infinite light. But beneath this ultimate reality, lesser divine beings emerged, and one of them became corrupted. In some traditions, this being is linked to Yaldabaoth, the arrogant creator who declares, "I am God, and there is no other beside me." Blind to the higher realms above him, he creates the material universe. not out of perfection, but ignorance. The world becomes flawed, violent, temporary, filled with suffering, and humanity becomes trapped inside it. Bodies become cages, society becomes hypnosis, religion becomes control, and salvation does not come through obedience, it comes through awakening. This is why Gnostic texts constantly emphasize hidden knowledge, remembering who you truly are, escaping the illusion. The Gospel of Judas takes this idea even further. In the text, Jesus appears less like a sacrificial lamb and more like a cosmic messenger from beyond the prison system. He descends into the material world to awaken certain souls. Not everyone, only those capable of Gnosis. And Judas becomes the disciple willing to do what the others cannot. He helps sever Jesus from flesh. Imagine how explosive this sounded to early church leaders trying to establish authority. Because if salvation comes through inner awakening rather than religious institutions, then the entire power structure collapses. No priesthood monopoly, no external gatekeepers, no empire built on spiritual fear, just direct realization. That idea alone was dangerous enough to get texts buried or burned. By the 2nd and 3rd centuries, church leaders were fighting to define orthodoxy. Which books belonged in Scripture? Which teachings were acceptable? Which groups had to disappear? Figures like Irenaeus of Lyon attacked Gnostic movements relentlessly, not because they were insignificant, but because they were spreading. Competing gospels circulated everywhere. The Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary, the Apocalypse of Adam, the Gospel of Judas. Alternative visions of Jesus threatened to fracture the growing church, and empires do not survive spiritual ambiguity, so lines were drawn. One version of Christianity became official, the rest became heresy. Books were destroyed, communities vanished, and history was rewritten by the winners. That doesn't automatically mean the Gnostics were correct, but it does mean something important. The Christianity we inherited was not the only Christianity that existed. Entire worlds of belief were erased, and the Gospel of Judas may preserve one of the most radical among them, because it doesn't merely reinterpret Judas, it questions the nature of reality itself. If this hidden history is shaking everything you thought you knew, subscribe now, because the deeper we go into these forbidden texts, the more the official story begins to crack. And comment below, was Judas a traitor or the only disciple who understood the mission? One of the strangest details in the Gospel of Judas is this: Jesus keeps laughing. Not joyful laughter, not comforting laughter, almost disturbing laughter. He laughs at the disciples praying, laughs at their sacrifices, laughs at their misunderstanding. Why? Because in Gnostic thought, most humanity is asleep. People believe they understand God while worshipping illusions. The disciples think they are serving the divine, but Jesus sees they are trapped in ignorance. This image completely overturns the traditional gentle Christ figure. The Jesus of the Gospel of Judas is mysterious, alien, detached from the material world. He speaks in riddles about stars, realms, angels, luminous clouds, and cosmic generations beyond human comprehension. The atmosphere feels less like organized religion and more like forbidden initiation. Almost as if Judas is being prepared to cross a threshold no one else can survive. And perhaps that is exactly the point. Because throughout history, forbidden knowledge is often portrayed as dangerous. The tree in Eden, Prometheus stealing fire, Lucifer bringing light, humanity reaching beyond imposed limits. The Gospel of Judas taps directly into this ancient archetype: knowledge as liberation, knowledge as rebellion, knowledge as the thing authorities fear most. Now comes the question that unsettles people the most. What if the Gospel of Judas reflects something psychologically true, even if not historically literal? Think about it. Modern society constantly pulls human attention outward. Consume, obey, repeat. Never question the system. Never question identity. Never question reality itself. And yet, countless spiritual traditions across the world insist on the same core idea. Human beings are asleep. From Buddhist enlightenment to mystical Christianity to Hermetic philosophy to Gnostic awakening, the message echoes across centuries. There is something more hidden beneath ordinary reality, something forgotten, something buried beneath conditioning. This is partly why the Gospel of Judas continues haunting modern audiences, because it reframes the villain as the revealer, the outcast as the initiate, the condemned man as the only one willing to shatter illusion. And whether one sees that symbolically or spiritually, it strikes deep, because history is full of people demonized for challenging systems of power, sometimes rightly, sometimes not. But the pattern repeats endlessly. The heretic, the exile, the truth seeker condemned by institutions. And Judas may represent the ultimate version of that archetype. Near the end of the Gospel of Judas, the text becomes fragmented, broken, damaged by time, almost as if history itself tried to erase the ending. But what survives is haunting. Judas receives visions of cosmic realms, luminous clouds, stars guiding souls, mysteries beyond flesh, and eventually, he hands Jesus over, not in greed, not in hatred, but as fulfillment, a final act in a hidden plan. In this interpretation, the crucifixion becomes a doorway. Jesus is freed from the material body, the divine escapes the prison of matter, and Judas becomes the catalyst, the disciple willing to bear eternal hatred so the mission could be completed. Think about the psychological weight of that image. To become the most hated man in history, for obeying the very teacher you loved. Whether myth, metaphor, or hidden theology, it is undeniably powerful, and perhaps that is why the Church could never allow this version to survive, because it transforms the entire moral structure of the story. Good and evil blur. Betrayal becomes obedience, and salvation becomes awakening from illusion itself. There is one idea buried inside Gnostic texts that disturbed the ancient world more than almost anything else. The possibility that the creator of this world was not the true highest God. To most believers, that sounds unthinkable, blasphemous. But to many Gnostics, the evidence was everywhere. Look at the world. War, disease, death, empires built on suffering, children born into pain, nature itself feeding on violence. And they asked a dangerous question. Would a perfect divine source create a reality like this? Or was humanity trapped inside a lower realm governed by something flawed? This is where the figure of the Demiurge becomes terrifying. Not a devil exactly, something stranger. A cosmic ruler convinced he is the ultimate God, demanding obedience, demanding sacrifice, demanding worship through fear. In some Gnostic writings, the Demiurge creates systems of control to keep humanity spiritually asleep. Power structures, false religion, material obsession, endless distraction. A prison hidden so well. Most prisoners never realize they are inside it, and suddenly the teachings of Jesus take on a completely different meaning. The kingdom is within you. Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. To the Gnostics, these were not merely moral teachings, they were escape instructions. And Judas may have been the only disciple willing to fully accept what Jesus was truly revealing. Not reforming the world, escaping it. Most people imagine Christianity emerging as one clear message spreading across the ancient world. But history was far messier. The early centuries after Jesus were chaos. Competing sects, competing gospels, competing versions of reality itself. Some Christians believed resurrection was physical, others believed it was symbolic awakening. Some taught obedience and faith, others taught inner illumination. Some believed the material world was sacred, others believed it was a cosmic trap. Imagine standing in the 2nd century with dozens of Gospels circulating at once. No finalized Bible, no universal doctrine, only competing voices claiming to possess the true message of Christ. And among those voices, the Gnostics were extraordinarily dangerous, because they threatened centralized authority itself. If divine truth exists inside the individual, then no empire can fully control it. No institution can monopolize salvation. No priesthood can stand between humanity and the divine. That idea terrified power structures, especially once Christianity became connected to imperial Rome, because empires survive through order, uniformity, control of belief. A mystical movement teaching that reality itself was an illusion could not easily be governed. So, over time, alternative movements were crushed. Texts vanished, teachers disappeared, and orthodoxy hardened into official truth. But buried beneath centuries of suppression, fragments survived, hidden in caves, sealed in jars, waiting in silence beneath Egyptian sands. Like echoes from a timeline history tried to erase. Now we arrive at the darkest possibility, hidden beneath the Gospel of Judas. What if the story was never really about Judas at all? What if Judas represents something inside every human being? The part willing to destroy illusion, even at unbearable cost. Because awakening is rarely comfortable. To awaken means questioning everything. Your identity, your beliefs, your reality, the systems you trusted, the authorities you obeyed, the stories that shaped your entire existence. And throughout history, those who challenge collective illusions are often hated first, not celebrated, condemned, mocked, destroyed. In many ways, Judas becomes the ultimate symbol of forbidden awakening. The disciple who steps beyond conventional morality into terrifying knowledge. The one willing to sacrifice reputation, legacy, even his soul in the eyes of the world, to fulfill a higher truth. And whether the Gospel of Judas is historically accurate or not almost becomes secondary, because its power lies in what it reveals psychologically. Humanity fears truth that destabilizes its foundations. That fear has shaped religions, empires, civilizations. Perhaps that is why forbidden texts continue resurfacing across history, because buried knowledge has a strange way of refusing to die. The Gospel of Judas survived fires, suppression, decay, black markets, and centuries of silence. And now, after nearly 2,000 years, its questions are alive again. Was salvation about obedience or awakening? Was Judas a villain, or the disciple who understood the unbearable truth? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, if a truth powerful enough to transform human consciousness existed, would the world preserve it or bury it? The answer may already be hidden in history itself. The Gospel of Judas remains one of the most controversial discoveries in spiritual history. Not because it gives certainty, but because it destroys certainty. It forces us to confront an uncomfortable reality. History is written by survivors. Orthodoxy is often decided by power, and some of the most dangerous ideas are not destroyed because they are weak, but because they are powerful enough to change how humanity sees itself. Somewhere beneath the sands of Egypt, a forgotten voice survived long enough to reach the modern world. A voice whispering that the prison may not be what we think, that betrayal may hide deeper meaning, and that salvation may begin the moment we dare to question the stories we inherited. Subscribe now if you want to continue exploring the forbidden Gospels, hidden scriptures, and lost teachings erased from history. Because the deeper we go, the darker the truth becomes.